Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jerso and today I am here with some fall book recommendations for this season. So I have a couple of book recommendations for the fall season. If you hear scratching and moving or anything like that, it's Stella. She decided to join me today. But I'm just gonna go right on ahead and start with the books. So fall to me, I usually read a lot of dark fantasy. Well, not necessarily dark fantasy, but just fantasy in general. And I also like to read like some cozy books, or books just, you know, that give me the vibes of fall, like either cozy or like dark and mysterious. So I pulled a couple of books that I've read in the last year or two, or maybe even this year, that I think would be perfect for this season. So let's get into the books. The first book that I want to talk about is The Last Miss Parrish by Liv Constantine. This is like a domestic thriller. We are following, I forgot, Amber. We're following our main character, Amber, and she comes up with a plan to kind of make a way for her to get the life that she wants, and that means marrying this rich guy, and his name is obviously Mr. Parrish. And so we follow her journey through how she does that, how she interacts with his wife and everything. This book is super predictable, but if you're looking for a nice fast-paced book with like a thriller mystery element, I would definitely go for this one. I know it kind of seems like beach vibes-ish, but I really think it would be perfect for fall. The next book that I want to talk about is, of course, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. If you have not read this one yet, please read it. It is amazing. Just the storytelling in this one was just so captivating. I absolutely love it. So in here we are following our main character, Monique, and she is a journalist who has been hired to kind of write this autobiography for a very famous socialite who is extremely private, Evelyn Hugo. And we get to experience Evelyn Hugo's rise to stardom, fall of stardom, like everything like that. And the story is told by kind of categorizing each one of Evelyn's husbands and how they really helped her career, or why she even married them in the first place. I'm doing this book no justice, but honestly it's so good. There's a little bit of a mystery element in here that I really enjoyed. I bawled my eyes out by the end of this book. The surprise was just, loved it. Beautiful. But this one is definitely great for a fall read. The next book that I would like to recommend for this season is definitely The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. In this book we are following our main character. I think her name is Avery, and Avery is like a high schooler, and one day she figures out that she has just inherited a large sum of money, but she doesn't know who this guy is and why he gifted her the money. But in order for her to be able to get her inheritance, she has to live in this big mansion with the rest of the family. This guy had like 4 grandsons or something like that, and they weren't left any money. So she is kind of working with them to figure out why she was the one to get this money out, even though she's like never met this person before. This one has really strong Knives Out vibes, if you've seen that movie. It reminds me a lot of that, and it's like a light thriller. Not really a thriller. It's not a thriller. It's more of a mystery. So I really enjoyed this when I read this last year, and I have the second book on my shelves somewhere. So I will probably end up reading book 2 this fall as well. The next book that I want to recommend is The Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This one is another mystery suspense book. We are following a high school senior. I think her name is Piper. Pip. I feel like her name was Piper, but they said Pip. So for her senior project, she is deciding to look into the murder of a once popular girl that happened in her town like a long time ago. And so she when the girl was murdered, everybody blamed her boyfriend, who then committed suicide, but Pip doesn't believe that the boyfriend was the one who killed her. So for her senior project, she's looking into that murder and trying to figure out what exactly happened or what went wrong. I really enjoyed this. You kind of have to suspend your disbelief a little bit. The main character can be kind of annoying, but if you're looking for a light, fun, suspenseful mystery, I think this one is really good. The audiobook is really nice as well, so I would highly recommend listening to this on audio. The next book I want to recommend is one that I will always recommend for this time of year, and that's no other than Verity by Colleen Hoover. This is a romantic thriller, romantic suspense, one of those, and I absolutely love this book. It reads like a Lifetime movie. It actually reads like a trash Lifetime movie, and I'm 100% here for it. I loved it. So we are following an author. I think her name is Lowen, and she's a struggling writer, and she gets the opportunity to finish a popular author's work, which popular author is Verity. She gets the chance to finish her set of books because Verity is kind of like has been in a bad car accident, and she's like brain dead, they think. So they bring on Lowen to finish that book, and Lowen moves into the family home with Verity's husband and a kid, and to try and get a feel for the books, try to look for any like copies, drafts, and everything like that. And things just go crazy when Lowen finds Verity's unpublished autobiography. And like I said, this is like a wild Lifetime movie, something quick and easy. I loved it. This one does have like an open-ended ending, so if you don't like that, I don't think you'll like this book because we don't really get an answer. But look up content warnings if you do want to read this one, because there are a lot. This book is very dark, but I still absolutely loved it. Next is another one of my absolute favorites. I love this book so much. It is The Arrangement by Robin Harding. This one is another like mystery suspense book, and it takes place within the fall. So I guess that's why I kind of get like the fall vibes. Plus the cover kind of gives me fall vibes as well. But in this book we are following a college student. I never remember character names. So Natalie, yes, she is a young art student in New York, and she is basically broke and needs to find a way to make money. One of her friends in her class, she noticed that she always has like lots of money and flashy things, and she's like, bro, you're an art student too, we're both living in New York City, how are you getting all this money? And her friend's basically like, let me show you. So Natalie is then introduced into the world of being a sugar baby or a sugar daddy, and when she goes on like a couple dates, she finally meets a sugar daddy. I forgot his name. So we're following their relationship and how that pans out, and this was just, it was comical to me almost. Like, I just had a really fun time with this book, and I absolutely loved it. So definitely recommend. Next we have a book that I read recently and absolutely loved, and that is Ace of Spades by Farida Abiki Alimadi. And this one, we are following two Black students who start receiving suspicious text messages exposing their secrets, and the entire school gets it. They go to like an elite private school filled with white students, and they are the only two students of color there. So this is like a mix of Get Out meets Gossip Girl, 100% accurate. I have a vlog reading this book that I will link up here if you want to check it out, but I absolutely loved it. This is like the perfect fall read. You can sit down and read it in one day. It is just amazing, beautiful, loved it. The next book that I would like to recommend is Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston. This was just, I loved it. Such a good book. So this is the middle grade, and we are following Amari. Her brother has gone missing and everybody thinks he's dead, but one day a black briefcase, I think, shows up on the door, and it introduces Amari into the world of like supernatural investigation summer camp type thing. So she thinks that the summer camp has something to do with her brother's disappearance, so she finds a way to try out for this supernatural bureau. What is it called? It's called Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. And she gets thrown into the trials to become one of the secret agents of this affair, and it's just amazing. Amari is a great character. The friendship aspect, I just absolutely love this middle grade and 100% would recommend. Okay, so the next 4 books that I want to talk about are like fantasy or have some fantastical elements to them. The first one that I've read recently is Game of Thrones. Really, it's Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes, and this is said to be like a kind of low down Game of Thrones, which I do agree. So we are following 3 main characters from 3 different kingdoms, and like a small minuscule event just kind of catapults this entire like kingdom-wide war, and just there's lots of plotting and yeah, so there's just lots of plotting going on between these 3 characters. There's lots of like love triangles and questionable relationships, and it's just so good and amazing. I'm gonna save more of my thoughts on this for my September wrap-up, but absolutely loved it. The next book that I want to talk about is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This is another one that I read last year, and that would absolutely 100% fit into the fall season, especially around Halloween. It just has the atmospheric vibes. So in here we are following Yadriel, who is trans, and he's trying to prove to his family that he is a bruja, and he accidentally summons the wrong ghost, and like the neighborhood bad boy type of ghost. And this Yadriel is trying to get rid of him, but he is refusing to leave until he figures out what happened to him, why he was killed, and him and Yadriel go on this big adventure, and that's all I'm gonna say. It's really, I love the family aspect. I love the friendship aspect. The relationship was beautiful. The vibes and the like atmosphere of the story was really amazing. I really like, at one point this book actually kind of creeped me out a little bit. That's how atmospheric it was, but 10 out of 10 would recommend. The next book that I have is of course Legend Born by Tracy Deonn. I think this is like the perfect fall, kind of like light dark academia vibes in my opinion. So we are following Bree Matthews, and she is recovering from the sudden death of her mother, and she has gotten accepted into this early education like college program at UNC Chapel Hill, and she decides to go because she feels like her mom was connected to UNC Chapel Hill in some way. And one day before classes start, she witnesses a ghost attack, and which then leads her thrown into the world of the secret society called Legendborns on campus. And there she finds out about a whole nother world of things that she has not known about, and finds out the connections that her mom has had to this group and everything like that. I love the atmosphere. I love the main character. Beautifully done. Absolutely would recommend. And the last book that I want to recommend for this fall season is none other than Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I don't even know how to describe this book. I don't. There is like a religious aspect in this book, but then there's also like romantic relationships and friendships, and just the politics is wild. The magic system is beautiful. I honestly don't know how else to describe this book except that we're following our main character, Zyla, I think. Yes. Zyla, and Zyla is tasked to delivering an important package, and once she meets this important package, she realizes that it's a person, and his name is Serapio, and it's basically about their journey getting him to where he wants to go, and just the mysterious religious aspects of it. And it just feels fall to me. This cover looks fall, it feels fall. I loved reading it, and beautiful. So those are all the books that I have to recommend for this season. I hope you found some that you haven't heard of before, or that you have heard of but they weren't really on your radar or on your list, and like you can pick them up this season. As always, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and don't forget to like it if you did and subscribe if you aren't, and I'll see you guys with another video soon. Bye.